Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about an ARC I received from NetGalley. The book is called Her Last Day, and this is by T.R. Regan. Her Last Day is set to release on October 24th of this year. If you've watched some of my haul videos in the past, then you know that I've purchased other T.R. Regan books, but like with most books I've purchased, I don't necessarily get to them right away. So this arc is actually the first book that I've read by T.R. Regan. And to be honest with you, this is just about a 3-star read for me. It was okay, and it was enough that I'll read the T.R. Regan books that I've already purchased, but it wasn't spectacular. Her Last Day is the first book in a new series by T.R. Regan that's going to feature the protagonist named Jessie Cole. Jessie Cole is a private investigator, and she is raising her teenage niece because her sister went missing 10 years ago. Jessie is the older sister, and her younger sister was a bit of a wild child, maybe did some things that Jessie had to clean up after, and eventually one of those things ended up resulting in her disappearance. When her child was 4, she disappeared. So Jessie took on the responsibility of raising her niece. So there are basically 3 main plot lines in this one book. And I think that's where I had a problem rating it higher than 3 stars. First, we have Jessie, who is a private investigator, and she's in a little bit of trouble with the law because she has shot and critically wounded a prominent lawyer. He's in a coma, and Jessie is adamant that he fired on her first and that she shot back in self-defense, but she's having trouble finding anyone who can corroborate her story, and she was trailing this lawyer because he's being accused of stalking 2 other females. So we have that going on. We also meet an investigative reporter named Ben, who is suffering from retrograde amnesia. 10 years ago, he was in an accident, and he cannot remember anything that happened to him or anything about his life before that accident. And so he is on a mission to uncover some of his past, and he realizes that it could potentially be linked to Jessie's missing sister. So that's how Ben and Jessie get involved. Thirdly, we have a serial killer on the loose in the Sacramento area, and they've dubbed him the Heartless Killer because in a couple of circumstances he cut hearts out and so forth. So those are the 3 main things going on, and that's a lot. But going into the book and realizing that all of this stuff was happening, I was willing to say, okay, well, maybe the serial killer plotline is isolated to this book, but the disappearance of Jessie's sister, along with the amnesia of Ben, the reporter, maybe that's something that's going to tie other series or other books in the series together. Maybe that's going to be a continuing mystery that holds everything together, as well as potentially her problems with the law and how that whole thing will play out. I thought maybe that was also something that was going to come back to haunt the reader in subsequent books. Now, it turns out that's not the case. All 3 of those major things have a resolution tucked inside of this book. As the reader, I found that I had a hard time deciding what this book was really meant to be about. Was it meant to be about the killer? Or was it meant to be about Jessie's sister? Why was the whole shooting thrown in there at all? There's just too much. It was just way too much. And unfortunately, I think each plotline suffered because of the existence of the others. I didn't even get into the stray dog hit by a car that needed surgery, or the missing paranoid schizophrenic girl that Jessie tries to locate, or Jessie's lawyer who has a presence and actually, is a victim of a home invasion in the book. I mean, there's just beyond the main plots, there's all these subplots. The romance thing, whatever's going on there with Jesse and Colin. To me, the most interesting stories were Ben, the reporter, and the missing sister, and also the serial killer. That said, I would have liked to see Ben's story and the missing sister's story continue. I didn't really want that to be resolved. As much as it probably would have pissed me off, it still would have made for a better book, a better series. It still would have, and that's hard to say considering I haven't read the rest of the series. It hasn't come out yet, but it seems like that would have been the perfect tie-in for any of the books in this Jesse Cole package. That said, the story that I truly wanted to focus on in this book is about the heartless killer. It is about the serial killer. And the bit that I have of that story is good. It's really good. This guy is a nightmare. This guy is a horrible individual. This guy, let's just say he exploits the fears of others in order to engage in torturing them. Like, if you're afraid of spiders, there's a scene you're probably going to have a hard time with. So I think it was written really well. I think it had what it needed. It just suffered because we had to give attention to so many other things. And the writer had to write about so many other things that the most affecting storyline in the book couldn't be developed the way that I really wanted it to be developed. The other problem that I had with it was also a result of the amount of stuff in the book. And that is characterization and not really feeling like I understand or know Jesse Cole very well. I know about her. I know about the elements in her past. I know why she is a private investigator. I know why she is an aunt raising a teenage girl. I know things about her. I just don't feel like I know her very well. She still seems a little two-dimensional to me. And that's the main character. Not to mention secondary characters like the niece or Colin. They are very flat. And the most engaging character in this book, again, is the killer and one particular victim of his. They were the most memorable characters. They were the most entertaining characters. They were the ones that kept me motivated through the book. And that's probably not a good thing, considering neither one of them is the series protagonist. The other thing that I really enjoyed about this book is that it doesn't necessarily fall into some of the same traps that a lot of thrillers do these days. It doesn't get too involved with past events. We don't actually, as the reader, ever dip into the past. We stay in the present, and that's something that I prefer in a thriller. The other thing that this book doesn't do, which is great, is that it's not contrived. The resolutions that these storylines have, they're not too convenient. Like, it's just so convenient that happened and saved the day. And that wasn't the case here. I felt like the stories were well built. They were well built and well plotted out. There was just too many of them. Ultimately, the part about Jesse shooting the lawyer, and I don't know why that's in the book. I'm hoping, and I intend to find out, if it does truly have something to do with the second book or another book in the series. I will probably read on. I want to get into more T.R. Reagan. Obviously, I've got the books that I purchased. I like the author. I want to read more of her work. There's something so captivating about reading the synopsis of a T.R. Reagan book. They really appeal to me. It really draws me in, and I don't feel like the synopsis of this book was misleading. I feel like it was limited. It only told a small portion of the story, and there was so much more in the story that I, as the reader, had to absorb. But I am still looking to read more T.R. Regan. I'm still probably going to continue with this series depending on when the books come out. Her Last Day is not available until October 24th. If the stars align properly and timing is right, I will be keeping a lookout for the second book in the series, and I will probably try to fit that in somewhere. So that's all I have. Again, I received this arc from NetGalley. If you think you like it, then by all means pre-order your copy, or don't forget to pick it up on October 24th. If you have any T.R. Regan experience, or if you have any questions about this book or this new series, hit me up in the comment section below, and I will try to answer questions as best that I can. And I'm also interested in your opinions about the author and her other series as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.